Things you can call number and
Oh, that number. Okay, sorry.
when it is related to treatment or distribution, at least this person can direct the inquiry to the proper department.
I was looking for anything.
Ready? Ready?
Sir.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to call this meeting of the West Valley Water District Board of Directors to order. It is 6:01 in the PM on Thursday, July 18th. We will begin with a roll call of board members.
Thank you. Director Garcia?
Present.
Director Moore is currently absent. Director Hawkins is also currently absent. Vice President Jenkins?
Present.
President Young?
Here.
Thank you. We have 3 of 5 members. We do have a quorum.
Okay, all right, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Director Garcia, would you lead us, please?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and we have Pastor Marlon Jackson on to lead us in the opening invocation. Pastor Jackson?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Evening.
Are you ready for me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shall we pray?
Yeah.
Dear God, we come before your presence today at this board meeting for the West Valley Water District. As they meet today, Lord, we pray that you give them wisdom and knowledge as they make decisions regarding who they serve water to, Lord. We pray for them, each and every one of them, those present and those absent. We thank you for them serving in this capacity. We pray this prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, and we will, we have several closed session items tonight, and we will do public participation for the closed session items. Madam Clerk?
Yes, thank you. Members of the public may participate and give public comment in one of 4 ways. In person at West Valley Water District's Administrative Boardroom, via telephone by calling 888-475-4499, access code 840-293-7790, via Zoom with access code 840-293-7790, or via email to administration@wvwd.org.
Okay, have we received any requests for public comment?
At this time, we have received no requests via Zoom, in person, or through email.
Okay, seeing no one wanting to speak, we'll go ahead and close public participation on closed session, and we will adjourn into closed session.
Do you want to note that
Please.
Director Hawkins just arrived? It is
Yes.
6:04.
Yes, thank you. All right, we will adjourn to closed session. Thank you. All right, we're back from closed session. General Counsel, report out from closed session.
Thank you. The Board of Directors met with its legal counsel regarding anticipated litigation in the matter of City of Camden v. Tyco Fire Products and took no reportable action. The Board of Directors met with its legal counsel regarding anticipated litigation in the matter of City of Camden v. BASF Corporation and took no reportable action. The Board of Directors met with its legal counsel regarding existing litigation in the matter of City of Camden v. 3M Company and took no reportable action. The Board of Directors met with its legal counsel regarding existing litigation in the matter of City of Camden v. E.I. DuPont Thermoirs and Company and took no reportable action. And finally, the Board of Directors met with its labor negotiators in the matter of International Union of Operating Engineers Local 12 and took no reportable action.
All right, thank you so much. All right, and if we could note that Director Moore is in attendance as well.
Yes, I believe he arrived at 6:30.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so everybody's here. So now we have an agenda before us tonight, Board. If there's any changes, if not, we'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
I motion that we adopt the agenda as presented.
Okay, we have a first.
I will second.
Okay, we have a first, we have a second. Any? Seeing that?
We'll
Call
take a
the
roll call. Thank you, Director Moore.
Yes.
Thank you, Director Hawkins.
Yes.
Director Garcia.
Yes.
Thank you, Director Vice President Jenkins.
Yes.
And President Young.
Yes.
That passes 5-4. Thank you.
All right, so that takes us to general public participation.
Thank you. Members of the public may participate in one of 4 ways: in person at West Valley Water District's Administrative Boardroom, via telephone by calling 840-293-7790, calling 888-475-4499, access code 840-293-7790, via Zoom with access code 840-293-7790, or via email at administration@wvwd.org.
All right, I see June has her hand up, but did we receive anything via email before I go to her?
No email, no one in person.
Okay, all right, June, the floor is yours.
Oh, good. I could use a little floor space. As you know, I am a director for San Bernardino Valley Municipal Water District, your wholesaler. And one of the major tasks that we take on is bringing water from Northern California to Southern California via that cement river that you see when you drive up the 5. We bought that back when it was first built. We bought into it back when it was first built, and we're still paying the mortgage. Every year, if you own property, you will see on your tax roll, and if you rent, your landlord sees on the tax roll and adds your fair share to your rent, I'm sure. But you will see on your tax roll an assessment from San Bernardino Valley Municipal Water District. Just wanted to let you know that today we voted to lower that rate by 1 penny for every $100 of assessed property value. I always have difficulty with that concept. And it's not a lot, but in this day and age when everything is going up, I think it's significant that you understand that we are working in the best interest of not only our retailers, but the people of our district, that we know that folks have it rough, that things are tight these days, and what we can do to help, little though it may be, is important to us. We have a fairly significant reserve fund that is there to pay not only our mortgage for Delta for the aqueduct, but also to pay for sites and the Delta conveyance when they're built. And we're hoping to be able to cash fund as much of that as possible, so that the mortgage burden in the future will not be that high for the people of the future who benefit by sites and Delta. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you so much, June, and thank you to you and your board members for your efforts there to keep that assessment as low as possible. Anybody have any questions for June on that, or is
No, but thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, June.
All right, any others, anyone in the audience? Going once, going twice, all right. Moving along, so now that will take us to presentations. We have an elections update. Mr. General Manager?
Yeah, with the upcoming elections, Elvia and Henry have a helpful presentation for you on the California FPPC and campaign rules for the election process. Elvia.
Thank you. This is a presentation that myself and Henry Castillo have been working on now for quite a while. And this is in anticipation of the coming elections. We're going to have him go through kind of the ins and outs of what you can and can't do during elections, and then I'll wrap it up with an overview of our website and what we currently have on our website for our ratepayers.
Hi, thank you, Board of Directors. So we're gonna just do a quick presentation of do's and don'ts and public employees who are allowed to do election season is coming up. As you know, election day is Tuesday, November the 5th, which is fast. This year, Division 1, 4, and 5 are up. And in order for you to be able to run or be eligible to serve as a director, you have to live and vote in the division of the office. Sorry, my mic was off. Can I get the next slide, please? The candidate filing period for these divisions started on July the 15th and runs all the way to August 9th. And you know that your elections are run by both San Bernardino County and Riverside County Registered of Voters. Next slide. So the courts have found that private funds and your time, there's no limit to what you can do with that. So officials have to be really mindful when they're serving, when they're on private time and when they're on public time. So the courts have also found in Citizens United that money is speech. So if you have private funds that you would like to use towards your campaign, you're free to do so. Next slide, please. This is where we kind of get to the gray area. So campaigning by public officers and employees. So public employees and public officers cannot campaign while they're on work hours. Work hours are defined whenever they're on the clock and being paid. What's not work hours? It's lunch breaks, vacations, admin leave, public holidays, or whenever they are not working. While they are serving on working hours, they can hand out pamphlets, they can attend campaign meetings, rallies, or other functions. They can make any telephone calls, emails. This also includes on their own private devices. They're prohibited from doing any of those tasks. They can't also wear any campaign hat, logo, stickers, or anything like that while they're on working hours. So another thing that they're prohibited from doing is doing any campaigning while they're in uniform. Their uniform is any clothing that's provided to them while they're required, any clothing that's provided to them by the district, or any type of equipment that's required to perform their task. This would be, the obvious one would be police officers, correct? So anything that uniform that identifies them by their badge, the city they work for, or anything that would insinuate that the city or the district is endorsing that candidate. The other thing that you can't do is you can't take any pictures or use any type of equipment for your campaign ads or your campaign political activities. Next slide. The other thing that you're prohibited from doing is a public officer or employee cannot promise a pay raise or a position within the agency if they donate to your campaign or if they make some sort of political contribution. This is part of the government code where they're prohibited from doing this. So as a public official, you can't also use your position from the dais to advocate for a candidate, and you can't advocate for a specific ballot measure. What you can do is you can provide general information to the public on a non-position, just provide them information, but do not advocate for it. A brief comment is fine. Extra credit if anybody knows what D minus is, except for Director Hawkins, because I'm sure he knows. So D minus just means a very significant 15, 20-second comment regarding a position is allowable. But making advocacy statements about a specific candidate is, of course, strictly prohibited. The other one is campaigning on public property. Campaigning on public property is a huge no-no. The government code actually gives you power to provide some regulations and prohibit campaigning on certain locations. This kind of applies more to cities since they have a lot of different city property. The water district is also entitled to pass some sort of regulation of not campaigning, say, on its property here. There's another prohibition on political signs. If there's any prohibitions that are passed on political signs or on any signs, it has to be content neutral. It has to be more of a restriction on, like, say, the size, colors. It has to be neutral to the content of it. But of course, you're allowed to campaign on any traditional public forum, which would be a park or a sidewalk. This is a very important one. This rule was actually updated recently, I want to say within the last 2 years. So 3 or otherwise permissible mass mailings cannot be sent within 60 days of an election by or behalf of a candidate. So these are really important. So you can't send within 60 days of the election, you can't send out letterhead with the incumbent's candidate's name, announcement of a meeting directly related to the incumbent's duties held or attended by the incumbent, announcements of district events where district provides facility funds and includes more than one mention of incumbent's name. This would be kind of the Earth Day event that you guys have here. So if it's an event that's within 60 days that the district is providing its public funds to organize, the district and the candidate are prohibited from sending out a flyer with your name, picture on it, and using those public funds to kind of gather and send a mass mailing. And that's pretty much the short presentation that we had this evening. If you have any specific questions or any questions tonight, feel free to reach out to myself or Jeff.
Just as a follow-up, I will be forwarding the link to FPPC that also has free online YouTube videos that kind of give you a little bit more detail if you are, for you or your treasurer, if you're running for office, you can view that gives you a little bit more detail on the do's and don'ts. So I'll be forwarding that and making that available as well to anybody who would like to ask.
And how about the elections link on our website?
Yes.
How's that looking?
If you don't have any questions for Henry, I'll move on to my section.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, no questions. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is give you a quick little overview here of our website. If we can close out of here. There we go. There we go. I'm going to click on this really quick. So this has just been updated. Well, there it goes. So if we go onto our page, the very first scrolling marquee is going to show general information on the divisions that are going to be up for election. And we are working to get a live link on this, but right now it just tells you to go to www.org/elections. You can get there under the About Us, and you click on the Elections 2024. And here's where you can find information specifically on each division. Tells you when the nomination period is. If you're looking for your division map, you can look it up, and it takes you to a website where you can type in your address up here, and then it tells you specifically, it'll bring you down to your street level, which division you belong, that you are in. And so let me get back. There we go. Further down, you'll have further information on finding your county of residency. So if you're a resident of our service area, that's Riverside County. Here's where you can get to the elections gateway for Riverside. There's also one for San Bernardino County. You can find the resolutions that we called for the election. We'll also be including the notice of election that we just received today from the counties that are going to be posted on the newspaper starting next week for both counties. Campaign disclosures. Every person that's going to be running for these seats are required to file certain campaign disclosures, and anybody can actually look those up based on which county you want to look them up in. And also, if you want to register to vote, we have a direct link to the Secretary of State where you can go directly in here and register to vote in your county. So all that is available for our ratepayers and also on the scrolling marquee on our main page. And that concludes our presentation. If you have any questions.
Any questions?
Thank you for a nice
Thank you.
presentation.
All right. So that concludes the presentation. So next up, we have the consent calendar. So we have 12 on the consent calendar tonight. Is there anything anyone wants to have for separate consideration? If not, I'll entertain a motion on the consent calendar.
I motion that we accept the consent calendar as presented.
Okay, we have a first. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion? Go ahead and call the roll.
Thank you. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Hawkins?
Yes.
Thank you, Director Moore.
Yes.
Director Garcia?
Yes.
Vice President Jenkins?
Yes.
And President Young?
Yes.
Great. That passes 5-0. Thank you.
All right, so then that takes us to business matters. The first thing we have up is about the holiday closure for this year. So,
Yeah, the
General Manager.
holiday closure. A lot of details provided in this write-up. As a brief history, the board has approved a holiday closure between Christmas and New Year's for the past 6 years. And the HR committee requested that we bring this item back earlier this year so the board can take action and employees can plan accordingly. In the write-up, we provided a lot of detail. So I think with that, we're ready to engage the board in discussion and look for the board to direct us on this matter.
Okay. You want to go over a little bit of the detail of the staff report, or?
Sure. I mean,
mean,
we can.
Looks like we're talking about what looks like 3, maybe
3
5
days.
Yeah.
In this case, we're looking at 3 additional days of closure, so the entire office is closed. Of course, like any weekend or holiday, we're always on call, and staff can always be reached by phone, and that we have an on-call person, and that on-call person will basically triage the phone call and contact the people or the crews necessary to take any action required. So we're looking at 3 days off. If we do not close during that period, some employees would be able to use their holiday time to get that time off. But about, I would say perhaps half employees would need to work to keep the normal operations running if we're going to have an effective office and an effective field presence.
Okay.
So some pros and cons there, but we're talking about an additional 3 days off. So there's a cost related to that.
And to my colleagues from the HR committee, any strong feelings, gentlemen, or?
Let's look at it. So what does that entail for that week?
Can you just speak into the mic really quick?
Okay.
Thank you.
So for Christmas week, let's take a look at Christmas week, right? Christmas falls on a Wednesday.
Yes.
Christmas is on a Wednesday, so that's a normal holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be the 26th, the 27th, and the 30th would be the 3 additional days.
Okay.
Christmas
Correct.
Eve is normally taken off, which is the 24th, the day before, and then the 25th is also a holiday. So most people work on a 4/10, so their Friday off is on that Friday. So we're talking the Thursday and the Monday, really.
Can we put the calendar up on?
As I have a question. As far as fiscal impact, would that mean that we're paying employees on those days off? Are we adding time off, or is this a vacation time off that we're kind of granting?
So the budget already takes into account. So essentially what's happening is you're paying people their regular salary closing. There's no additional cost except for any calls of urgency, like emergency calls after hours. And those we put in the mechanism of the on-call and come back when needed.
Okay.
And that's when you incur your overtime, but those are minimal.
Yes. Yeah. We don't have a lot of emergencies.
Potentially not, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
So we did bring up the December 2020 calendar that you'll see up there on the screen. The Tuesday 24th is a holiday, 25th is a holiday.
So
it's
essentially, the days of that we're requesting to close is Monday the 23rd, Friday the 27th, and Monday the 30th.
So it's 4 days then.
Okay.
Now, is the 26th then considered already a holiday, the day after Christmas?
It is not. So it's the 23rd, the 26th, 27th, and the 30th. So
Oh,
it's
okay,
4
it is
days.
4 days, 4 days. You didn't mention the, okay, thank you.
Oh.
Okay, so Christmas Eve is also, it's a holiday here?
So you've approved it as an observed holiday.
So, all right.
And the same thing goes for the 31st.
So will staff be returning on the, they won't be returning on the 1st, they'll be returning on the 2nd?
On the 2nd.
Okay. And some staff have the 3rd off already.
For those that work the 410, yes.
And the second would be a meeting for the board.
Oh, okay.
Here too.
Oh boy. I don't know. What do y'all want to
As
do?
a discussion, I think that last time when we approved this last year, it was because we had done this towards the end, and we
Mhm.
said that we would take that in consideration and then we talk about it for this year.
Yes.
That's what we're doing.
And so, I know that there's no fiscal impact, but I think that there was discussion that we would try to move into the not having this as a reoccurring thing moving
Yes.
forward.
There was. Yes.
And so, knowing that we have Christmas Eve off and then we have Friday off.
That's not for everybody. Not everybody has a 410.
Okay. I'm in support of going towards the direction that we were thinking of going, of just keeping it open.
So not giving those 4 days then.
That is correct.
What do you think?
I'm thinking that this might take some more consideration, and that not to act immediate, because we've done it in the past. But at the same time, we have a duty to our ratepayers. And my other question would be that are other districts closed during that time? Like, are we mimicking local other districts? I mean, that could.
So we took a survey of
Yeah.
12, and of the 12, 4 districts closed during that period of
Okay.
time. And then I believe the city of Rialto is also closed for that
Okay.
week.
Oh.
They might be closed every day though.
All right. Other thoughts?
Might be better off.
Or-
No, I'm good. That's why, like I said, I want to just do what we said we're going to do. Revisit this, talk about it, and make the decision. I'm in support of it.
In support of not giving it, or in support of giving
the
it?
4 days.
Or giving them the 4 days?
Yeah, I'm
And-
supportive of it.
And then do it like an annual basis or
Yeah,
something every
let's
year?
review it
Because
annually. I just
obviously the
don't wanna
holiday would
think in this-
change,
I
yeah.
just think we need to review it annually,
Revisit.
not just make it, you know. And I think that's a reasonable request.
I think the interesting part, I think, is City of Rialto, which is closed and almost, some people might say almost every day, but that other districts are doing that. I'm certainly more leaning towards in favor of allowing the staff to have the days off so they can spend time with their families.
You said 4 out of 12 are doing it?
4 out of 12, yes.
What are the other ones doing?
Sorry.
What are the other ones doing instead?
Which agents?
So the other ones
Which
are
4?
just, the other 8 are just regular schedule. They just come into
Okay.
work, skeleton crew.
Okay.
Mm.
So, John, any impact negatively that you see as a result of this? Or?
The the holiday closure obviously is viewed very positively by staff.
I'm sure.
It is accounted for in the budget, but those are days you're paying for, additional days you're paying for, that you're not getting people working on those days. So I think that's understood. If some people will take that time off, some people won't. Some people will want to and not be able to, because we do need a core staff here to man the front counters and run the crews and have an operation if we're going to be open. So there's kind of that impact. If you have half the staff here and half not, it's not the most productive environment. So there's pros and cons related to that.
Well, I also think customer service is important because of if there is someone has a bill issue or I understand the emergency stuff might
Mhm.
go to a pager or cell phone or someone else on call, but certainly a live person is good to have. That'd be my biggest concern. Like if this happens where they are closed, does the general public have access to someone they can talk to? This is my issue and I'm trying to pay a bill. I notice your offices are closed. Is there another viable way for me to pay my bill so I don't get my water shut off, as an example?
Yeah, if you call our number, you'll get someone on staff here.
Okay.
And they'll triage the call. And we can provide your request that those calls, no matter what the call is, if it's a call about a bill, that we will respond to that.
All right.
As a follow-up question, people who do come in because you have to open doors, are they going to get paid additional time for being here? How does that work? Who gets to come when everybody else is off?
Someone will be placed on standby, and they're paid for standby time. And if they have to come in and work with a customer or fix a leak, they would be paid overtime. Correct.
So how we've handled it, it's work completely shut down. Nobody's here except for the on-call staff. So that would be my recommendation, that if we're going to close, it's closure complete. And the reason for that is we need to have supervision if it's a hourly staff. So if we're going to go that route, we have to make accommodations to have a supervisor and whoever else needs to come in to be able to work. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Okay.
So supervision has to be here. So my recommendation is complete closure, have your on-call staff on call for emergency calls, and then designate the supervisor of customer service to take any calls during that period of time.
Yeah, now, one thing we could even consider, just kind of like meeting in the middle there, is that obviously the 23rd and the 30th make a lot of sense just because they're kind of buttressed by the weekend and the holiday, and then just have it to where we're open on the 26th and 27th, so that there's at least a couple days there in the middle where if a customer does need service, that there's people here. But again, just throwing out ideas.
I like that idea.
Yeah, that seems reasonable
That's a
too.
middle ground.
Yeah.
Because the staff will be back on the 2nd no matter what, because we have a meeting that day.
Yeah, and you'll kind of have quite a few probably off on the 27th anyways, those who are on the 410s, but at least then if someone really needs to talk to somebody, we can at least say we're open on the 26th and 27th, maybe. It's kind of somewhere in the middle.
Then those people who wish to take the full 2 weeks, they
Yeah,
just
they
have to
can
use
still take
ETO,
their-
on the
yeah.
26th and on the 2nd.
Yeah, they can take their vacation time.
Vacation time, yeah. That might be a middle ground.
What do people think of that?
I'm in support of that.
Yeah, and if they have to take their time off, you'll still have to put somebody on call anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay. All right. Sounds like maybe that might work, kind of in the middle approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we do have to kind of look at the calendar every year and just see when the holiday actually falls,
Yep.
too. I mean, I just know at work, I'm going to have a lot of people wanting to take the 23rd off because that's not a county holiday, but I'll have lots of people want to work who want to take it off, and I'll be like, I got to kind of keep a few people here to man the phones. So it's always kind of a discussion point at this before this time of year, for sure. So, okay, sounds like maybe we gave you some direction there then.
Okay.
Or do we need to vote on it?
I think you should make a motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Entertain a motion.
So the direction's going to be to give the 23rd and 30th as a holiday and with full closure.
Correct.
Okay.
And then we'll be open the 26th and 27th then, if that's agreeable to, based
And
on our
then
discussion.
bring it back on a yearly basis for discussion.
Correct.
Correct.
Correct. So if somebody would make the motion for that.
I motion that we allow the holiday closures as discussed and presented as Elvia stated.
Okay, we have a first. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. Any further discussion?
I do have a question on, does staff have the 24 off? They do? So it's
Yes,
just,
'cause
it's
it's
just 2
Christmas
additional
Eve.
days?
Yeah, because it's
All right.
Christmas Eve.
I thought we were back to normal. Everything was open.
I have to work.
All right, so looks like we have a first and a second. You
Thank
can
you.
call
We
the
do
roll.
have a first and second. I'll take a roll call vote. Director Hawkins?
Heck yeah. Put that on the record.
Director Moore?
Yes.
Director Garcia?
Yes.
Vice President Jenkins?
Happy holidays, yes.
And President
Holidays,
Young?
Yes.
Thank you. That passes 5-0.
So is that like four yes, one
heck
heck
yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
We'll put it bold in the minutes.
yeah, there you go. All right. Okay. Well, great. All right. So then we have item 14, and we have a. All right, John.
Okay, yeah, this is, well, as you know, Bill's retirement is effective August 2nd. He has offered to stay on longer during the recruitment, during the transition to a new CFO. The board will need to take this action in order to make that happen due to CalPERS rules. So I think with that, I'll turn it over to Haiti to provide some additional details on this item.
Okay. Yes, so because Bill is retiring and we need his expertise in the financial world, he has eloquently stated that he is more than willing to stay during the recruitment process until we fill that vacancy. So PERS allows us to present to you a resolution and employment agreement that you need to approve and adopt so that PERS can designate him as an annuitant that does not have to have the 180-day waiting period. That allows us to bring him back the day after his retirement, so we're bringing him back on August 5th. We have an RFP out for a consulting firm that will help us with this recruitment, so we're hoping to select that recruitment firm and bring that forth to you to approve the contract before or coincide with the date that Bill starts, which is August 5th. Once that's all in place, we're good to bring Bill back and start the recruitment to fill that vacancy. We're hoping to get that vacancy filled by the end of the year, but no later than January. And that's all, again, based on the recruitment process and how successful we are in that. But the important part of this is to get the agreement signed, the resolution approved and adopted, so we can
Get it to PERS.
be in line with PERS requirements.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll have plenty to say about Bill and his retirement, but I'll hold off on my comments for the next board meeting. I'm sure we'll have plenty to say about your time here, Bill, but we sure do appreciate you willing to help us out here as we look to move through that recruitment process. So Any questions for Haiti on the resolution and what it is we're discussing?
I do have a question. When you're a retired annuitant, is it the same pay, or how does that work with CalPERS?
So CalPERS caps it at the highest highest salary range. So in his case, he's going to get paid $119.02 per hour, and that's the most he can get paid under CalPERS rule.
So essentially, he's donating his time to us.
Yes.
$119 an hour? Oh, wait. I take it back.
There's no donations here.
No discount, no discounted rate. Is that a full-time position, or is it like a set amount of hours per month?
So he is capped at 960 hours.
So that's 176 per month, so that's
It's almost 6 months.
Yeah.
So give us enough time to
Yeah.
do the recruitment, and
All right.
then he can ride off to a nice beach somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
No.
Pretty straightforward. Entertain a motion on the item.
I motion that we approve the item 14 as presented.
And that's staff recommendation 1 and 2, correct? That's listed
Yes,
here?
correct, 1 and 2, yes.
Okay, so that's adopting the resolution and then authorizing John to reinstate him in the 180-day, with the
Yes.
180-day waiver. So, yeah. Okay. All right, we have a first. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. Any more discussion? Okay.
Take a roll call. Thank you. Director Hawkins?
Yes.
Thank you, Director Moore.
Yes.
Thank you, Director Garcia.
Yes.
Vice President Jenkins.
Yes.
President Young.
Yes.
Thank you. That passes 5-0.
All right, thank you. Okay, well, that takes us to reports. First up, we have, does any board members have any meetings which they need to report for billing purposes?
I do. I have some meetings.
Sure.
On July 5th, I met with County Supervisor Jesse Armendariz. And then on the 11th, I attended the Fontana concert in the park. And on the 13th, I went to the Fontana Family Fun Night. And that's it.
Okay, all right. Anyone else?
I was in the high desert last Monday for ASB CSD. At the end of it, I know we're hosting them next month. At the end of it, they mentioned the next meeting will be hosted by us, but location to be shared or determined later. So hopefully we're getting that information out.
We'll be sharing that soon.
Yeah. I hope we're sharing with Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anyone else?
Yeah, I attended the Fontana and Rialto City Council on the 9th. We got a well education seminar over on the 13th over in Irwindale. That was a great educational series there and a tour. Yesterday, farmers market, and Barbara McGee had great things to say about our teams that's over there at the farmers market. And when Barbara McGee comes over and says something to you, it's positive. It's a good thing. And she was just on fire about the two that were there, and that we have a presence. And what else? This morning I had coffee with James Ramos today, and that's it.
I had a meeting with Joseph Williams regarding the bills and the information disclosed on the bills. So I think I need to forward you guys a memo. So that was on the 16th. I had a meeting with legal counsel on the 12th. Those are the only two.
All right. The only thing that I need to report is last Friday wasn't so much sort of an interview with me, but more of an interview with my 97-year-old grandpa, with Jeff Crinder, who's doing our 75th anniversary book, history book, and just hearing all the old stories of a lot of the old timers on that wall, and who my grandpa actually knew quite a few of them, was quite entertaining. And hearing some of the history that he was able to share with him, he was there for about almost 2.5 hours and took probably about 10-15 pages of notes. So it gave, I think, him a lot of good material, and it was a very good time, and probably look forward to talking to him more down the road too. He was very interested in learning about the older history of the district in those early years, and in particular just that. And my grandpa kind of thought about it a lot later, just how much of the population was actually in the south portion then, because up here it was like nothing. And my grandpa's like, yeah, I used to hunt like pheasants where your guys' place is now, but that was a long, long time ago. So it was very interesting, just kind of listening to the two of them talk though during that time. So, all right, next up, do we have any committee meeting reports that anyone needs to disclose? Okay. I think I had one, but I can't find it now. Oh. All right, so for the Finance Committee, we did meet and we talked a bit about the update of the iPaySmart integration. And it looks like we'll be complete and full operation coming up here in August. And then just talking about contracting with our rate consultant, Raftalis, to resume their work on the water rate study. And that we can kind of expect that to also restart here in August, with plans of having it completed by the end of the year. And then we had the 2 items on the agenda for today that we just approved. So, Dan, do you have anything else for?
Okay, safety and technology. Staff provided an update on the intranet for our website here, and updated including the department contacts and community sponsorships page, which is great. Security cameras. Staff is still working in obtaining a grant funding to provide camera coverage at the district headquarters. I think there was an incident about a month or 2 ago, and so I know we're expediting that. And the committee discussed the VMware host replacements. The equipment was received, and staff will begin the transition to the new host. And then we have some ongoing projects with Navex and Tyler Work Order Module, the Agenda Link, and Kind implementation. And that's the end of my report.
Nothing?
Okay, Human Resources Report. We discussed Bill's resignation, talked about that. Purchasing Inventory Specialist interviews, we're going to be done on July 30th. Also, Water Conservation Analyst position as well. And the Classification and Compensation Study. There's also going to be a work violence program coming as well. Takes about an hour, they said, for us to do it. So we're going to be doing it as a board as well.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. General reports from board members?
There's a lot going on, and I know next week is going to be a busy, or excuse me, 2 weeks from now on the 1st. And 2 members here have obviously made an impression on me, and they will be sorely missed. I know we're going to say it multiple times, and I know I'm maybe the first one to say it, but in the short time Bill has been here, he's made an impact on our district and for the ratepayers, all in a positive way. And your team has been exemplary, and you'll be sorely missed. We'll talk about that again. And Channing, who's been a foundation of this board for many years already, and a significant leader, I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you for showing me and demonstrating what true leadership is here.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I just want to be able to close today's meeting on behalf of my mother-in-law who just passed away on Sunday morning peacefully. It's been a difficult few months in my family, but I just want to be able to close today's meeting on behalf of Yolanda Garcia. Thank you.
Can please note that in the record. All right, and I'll just, without going into too much detail, just ask for prayers for some hardships in the family right now. So, if there's nothing else, we'll move on to General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have some updates on staffing and recruitments and an external meetings report. On recruitments, the Assistant Water Systems Operator in Distribution, an offer was accepted and the selected candidate is now going through the pre-employment process. We hope to start him Monday, July 29th. So it'd be great to get distribution back up to full strength there. Next is Purchasing Inventory Specialist 1. This was a position that was recently vacated by Cliff. The posting closed on June 28th, and we have interviews scheduled for Tuesday, July 30th. And good luck to 2 internal candidates on that recruitment. But we have a new opening starting tomorrow, Facilities Maintenance Technician. Unfortunately, another vacancy in the same department. Chris has resigned. His family needs to relocate to the Bay Area due to his wife's job up there. They're calling people back to the office. So the virtual days are over, and they're actually very quickly having to move back. His wife and daughter actually have already moved back a week ago, and he's back selling the house and packing up. So really sorry to see Chris go. Loved working with Chris, and it's a big loss for us. This position, we posted this July 9th and scheduled to close July 20th. And then also just wanted to mention that we have 4 employees participating in our new career development and cross-training program.
Yay.
External meetings report. Just wanted to mention a few things. Recently, our ACWA representative, Sarah Hodge, came down to visit us, and we appreciated her visit. Socorro put together a nice presentation and package for her, and there's a great opportunity for her to learn more about the district, what we do, our work, our people, our challenges, and how ACWA can help support our advocacy efforts. And then just a couple days ago, Linda and I met with Valley District and the cities of Colton and Rialto and Fontana Water to discuss our collective desire to use the Cactus Basins for groundwater recharge. So we're currently working together, and we're working with San Bernardino County on an MOU so that we can continue working towards this goal. And then I just thought, mention the ASB CSD. Great news, Congresswoman Norma Torres will be joining us as a guest speaker. So it's going to be, I think, a really powerful event for the district. So looking forward to that, and more to come. Really excited about it. And then finally, of course, August 1st, we're planning a reception in honor of Director Hawkins on the 1st at 5 p.m. And when we talk about calendar next, I think Elvie has some more details on those plans. So otherwise, that's all for me tonight.
Okay. All right. Legal?
No report tonight. Thank you.
Okay. And Elvia, you want to go over?
Yeah,
upcoming
we'll
meetings?
just flip really quick to kind of show you how busy your week's going to be. So we've got a very busy next week with External Affairs at noon on Monday, Executive Committee on Tuesday, Finance Committee on Wednesday, and Engineering and Operations on Thursday.
3 in a row.
We are just raring to go. We've got rounding up the week with Southern California Water Coalition's quarterly luncheon in Downey. We've received RSVPs from 3 of the 4. I believe Director Garcia cannot attend that one, I believe. Oh, no, she is.
I'm on standby.
She's on standby. It's a 50-50. We'll keep her in red. But anyway, we've registered the rest of them to attend, and so that's coming up. And Policy Committee on the 30th, we'll be bringing quite a few items for that. The following month, in August, we've got the farewell reception for Director Hawkins, from 5 to 6. We've sent invitations out to our local electeds, list of folks I've been coordinating with Daphne, his wife, on folks to include in that. I like her. She's a lot like me. She's like on top of it with everything, which is great.
Yeah, you should see the decorations they have planned for you.
We'll have light refreshments and for folks that are in attendance, and then we'll be wrapping that up with some photos. And then we'll start our regular meeting around 6 o'clock after that. So that's for August. We've got the regular standing committee meetings that are scheduled throughout the month. We have BIA Water Conference on the 9th. We've got RSVPs from Dr. Garcia, Vice President Jenkins, and Director Moore. Aqua Region 9 event that's happening in Temecula, and an RSVP by Vice President Jenkins. Just a note, on the 26th, which is when we're hosting the ASB CSD, is the same scheduled day as External Affairs. So we'll have to discuss when to reschedule that. I'll be reaching out with the committee members to get that rescheduled. And that pretty much covers our month.
You can add me for the 9th.
For the 9th?
Yeah.
Okay, BIA Water Conference.
I'll be able to make it after
Okay,
all.
wonderful. I'll add you to that. And that concludes that report.
For the external affairs for August,
Yes.
can we move it to the 19th?
Move it to the 19th, that following, the week prior? That's fine. We just need to make sure that we've got, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. It would be you, and it would be actually just you.
All right.
We can move it to the 19th.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions for Elvia? All right. We'll have a lot to talk about on the 1st, and a lot of things to say for sure. All right. Anything else for the good of the order? Nope. All right. Well, thank you. We are adjourned.
All right. Next Sunday, the 20.